I think as coaches, we all spoke about 6 or 8 weeks. So we talked about, it's been a tough year with some guys not having played for 12, 14 months. The dangers were that all four regions were in different spaces about who hadn't played. For us, for instance, to go, to a real development side would put us very young. For Glenn, he talked about, lots of his guys returning who are internationals, haven't played a huge amount of rugby. So what we agreed to do about 6 weeks ago was touch base each Monday, get a flavour for where each coach saw it, and ensuring that it was competitive. Because what we don't want, it's not a development experience if we can't make it competitive. It's not a development, unless we can get a youngster next to an established international. So I think we're all in the same place at trying to thread some guys into what would be a more recognised senior group. I don't necessarily agree with the sort of blanket that Europe was disappointing for us. Europe was difficult for us. Going back to WAS was probably the most difficult period for us, certainly with COVID and quarantine of individuals. It just changed for us. Some of our Northampton performance was probably some of the best rugby we played. So, I don't necessarily see the blanket disappointment. What I see is further momentum of some of our form that we've been in recent weeks. And that's that challenge for me. I don't want to lose that, but I do have to expose some more people. And I've got to try and get that balance, not right necessarily this week and every week, because you just revert to a senior group. I've just got to try and get that right over the next 5 or 6 weeks and see how the tournament plays out. What we're trying to do is accelerate something that we've probably been trying to do since probably January, February. So you look at the decision to bring an Iron in, the decision to bring Ben in, Josh Reynolds, Rio. They've all got decent Pro 14 experience over the last 3 or 4 months. We now want to cement that with sort of some successive weeks, and Rio's definitely one that we would see playing as many of these games as possible. And then I think there's probably 3 or 4 others that would get a little bit more exposure than what they've had in the actual Pro 14. So it is a balance, because, as you know, as mentioned to Lauren, is I don't want it to end up as a development fixture, but I do want to get them to experience the intensity of top level competition, so that can support us into next year. What I liked about when he came in is we challenged him around some of the foundations. It's very difficult sometimes for a developing player to come in and want to showcase the one area they know is their super strength, but the irony being is probably as a coach you're looking for the 5 or 6 areas that allows him to be stable. What we're talking to the developing players is if you can create stability in that senior environment, you get more security of being in week after week. That's where you grow your experiences, and that's where you get more chances to show. But definitely the excitement around Rio's pace is something which we're keen to get out on the field.